Good morning. Let me know if you can hear me in YouTube land, please. Be alert. Be alert. Can anyone hear me in YouTube? On YouTube? Anyone? A little help. A little help, please. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Tastic. Thank you. All right, I'll be back in a minute after this disclaimer stuff.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial stability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be considered as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will prompt that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in wholesale Senate Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers farmers without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account holder is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses on material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may amount or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trading room and this webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis setups I share trades and potential trades that I take for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach trades on identify specific areas, trading financial themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trade, you sort your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have 14 drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet that I access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and APR values and I'll be able to exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into this spreadsheet as well as prices that trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zone spread for yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. All right, good morning. Very quiet in the markets now. You see this heavy volume that came in after the earlier numbers. There's been a bunch of numbers today, actually. PCE, PMI, home sales. So now we're getting something finally. But anyway, you can see this thing just launched here. This relative volume, 3 times relative volume, multiple bars. Same here, ES, and it's basically, they call this bull flag in technical terms, but all these, there's got to be sellers here that had to absorb this buying, and they're not feeling real good. So that looks like that's going to happen. Shorter term, the short-term look, longer term. NQ looks like it's going to rip off the page once again. I will trade any long setups double size based on my thesis. This is how I do it. I'm a day trader. I trade both longs and shorts, but if I get long setups, I'm trading double size based on what I'm seeing here. All right, so this tried to break down, basically held high volume node, moved lower, broke down out of that, and now you have a failed breakdown of that guy. You can, even if you don't think it broke down, it's a breakout of this balance area through the high volume node of that balance area, and we're sitting here. So it's a failed breakdown of that guy with a breakout of that guy. That looks like that. For some reason, if that does not happen, so we always talk about if-then scenarios, right? And what should happen if it doesn't, you multiples the other way. So this should have broken down. It didn't. Now it goes, you're expecting a big move this way. If this comes back, then you got to change your tune, right? So, I'm basically watching. I would say the break of this guy would change my tune, right? You pretty much don't, if you're a bull, you don't want to see it break this guy right around 18,000. You want to see this hold, and I think that's going to happen. But if something changes, then you got to be ready to pivot, and you use your thesis stuff. So Right now it looks very, very bullish. I'll trade double sized the upside. And then Q, ES looks the same. I mean, not the same, but a little higher it'll be the same. So you had this balance here, broke down, built bigger balance here, breaking out of that balance right at that high volume. Now a little higher here. Any setups I would trade a little higher here. That trade double size too. You know, if this did come up into this zone and I got a bearish setup, I would take a short. These are my inflection zones, aka Izzy zones. So, like I said, I mean, I am bullish, especially above this guy, but I would still take shorts if the volume events, which are real time, it's telling me what's happening right now. If I get a volume event in my important area, I'll take that short. I wouldn't take a double size, obviously. So you come up with all these scenarios and then you wait for the market to tell you what it's going to do, right? So I have no idea what it's going to do. Nobody knows what it's going to do until it does it. So you come up with scenarios so you're not like a deer caught in headlights when stuff starts firing off, right? So I have these potential situations and now I just sit and wait. We did just get a setup here. So you can see here, this is the new, this is the zone drawing tool. We have basic and pro. Right, so this is now a short setup here. So let's see. I'll come back to this stuff here. I just want to see something. You know, this is an Izzy right now. So it's kind of sitting in this zone. So I will, especially in this situation too, where we just talked about how bullish it is. So it's kind of just resting in this zone. So I will wait for ATR retest confirmed to short it. Usually Izzy trades are, you know, first move in. You get the volume event, you take first move out of the volume event, right? There's situations, and I explain it here in my trading strategies. That's the normal Izzy. And then there are exceptions. So this one is, this applies to a situation the market is accepting in the zone, building balance. So this is sitting in the zone. So I will still I'll take the short, but I need to see the conservative ATR retest confirmed. So we'll go over that as it happens. So I just got done saying how bullish these markets look. Well, why are we seeing a bearish setup, right? So it doesn't mean you just jump in and short it, but this starts moving lower. I already know what happened up here, and then we pivot, and I can start trading bigger to the downside if those areas violated. They're much further down. I'm not saying right now, but again, if-then scenario. So this does this, I will take an Izzy short, and I'm very bullish because I'm a day trader, right? And if these parameters fit my trading strategies, I put the trade on. I play probabilities. That's what trading is. You're never gonna, you know, most poor traders try to pick and choose where they're gonna, this one feels bad, this one feels good. If you want to be a successful trader, you have an edge, first and foremost. You come up with rules around that edge, and then you put the trade on regardless of what you're feeling, right? Because in this day and age, my feeling's wrong 80% of the time as far as gut feeling, right? Because these algos were programmed basically to go against the poor trader's feelings, in my opinion. So if I get my variables, I put the trade on. So this will feel bad to put on. Uncomfortable, I should say, if that happens. But I will do it because it's my trading strategy. Right? If you want to be successful, you just keep executing. We say it every single week. I'm not gonna, I will probably get into rants today, but it's literally just trading an edge like a casino. A casino does not know which hands are going to be winners, losers when they're dealing to their players or rolling the dice or whatever. They know math, aka edge, is in their favor over the long run. So if you can think about trading in that manner, that's directly out of Trading in the Zone, by the way. The book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. If you can think of trading in that manner, you're more than halfway there, right? And then it comes down to executing and not doing stupid crap. And then you're on your way to becoming a profitable trader. Let's get tick strike down here. So stop runs, again, pretty interesting here. This market looked like it was going to rip off the page. It's not yet. See where we are here. I've put nothing on today yet. You can see this as he held. Technically, I could have taken that Izzy. It hasn't really been building balance here for a long time. It was basically 2 bars. I just didn't have the cojones to do that, especially after what I just talked about. But it has been sitting in the zone, so I elected to do that, and it's probably going to retest anyway. So I'm not going to chase this thing if it comes back. If it doesn't, then there's always another setup. If this moves lower, especially if it gets through this, then I'm going to fire to the downside. But there's another setup right around the corner. I'm not going to chase it. If it retests, confirms, I'm going to go short. This is interesting here. So this is algo guy. Call it algo guy. It's an exponential moving average. These are average. Each one of these are different time period bands. These are longer term. The blue is shorter term. You can see this thing's trying to pull across right now, right there. So my rules are from my trading strategies, bark and lick, and that's these. Bark, blind, ATR, retest, confirm of any volume event. So that is, we just talked about taking trades, looking for important areas and waiting for your volume events. Well, this trade and this trade, no matter where they occur, I'll take the trade, right? I need to see ATR, retest, confirm, either way. But I also need algo guy in that same direction. That's my filter for that trade, right? So I just get that wind at my sails as well. That's what that's meant to do. So those trades are probably the most active trades that you're going to have. They're all over the place. You're going to hear them this whole webinar. You're going to hear probably 50 different setups, right? Between all these markets I'm watching 20 different futures markets. So I'll trade those, but I need algo guy in that direction. So any short setups now in NASDAQ, I can take bark and lick. ES is not close to crossing yet. So this is still pretty bullish. So I would take barks and licks to the long side in ES. All right, so that was my choice not to take that Izzy up there, but that would have been a nice. That was an inflection zone. This is why we have these zones, and you can get these zones as part of my trade room and/or as a subscription, as well as the spreadsheet. But that was an important area with the volume event. I just elected not to take it aggressively, and now I'm mad. Of course, it's human nature, but I would not have been mad if I took it and it. That I didn't take it and it ripped up. So you don't know what's going to happen. Follow your rules. My rule was it was sitting in the zone. I didn't take the trade. If you are short, if I was short here though, this would be an area I would be looking to get out of some if it fails. This is a prior volume event from pre-market. If you can see if it starts to struggle, I would be out of some here. So that's a nice. You would have been in right here. Actually, I got to change this color. We'll go over this drawing tool at length as well. For some reason there's a bug in here, so this is the zone drawing tool pro. We're doing a beta, so if you get the basic, you get to beta, then this where it announces everything. You see it announcing everything. It's telling you when these volume events. So I have specific rules for these volume events to prove whether they're bullish or they're bearish, as well as the reversion trades and so on and so forth. We'll go over all this in the webinar, but you guys get access to this, and we're beta testing it. So this is. Anyway, I'll come back to that in a second. I would have been in here if I took this trade. You see the short aggressive. If I took that aggressively, it was right around 34.75. So that's already a 60 point winner. But did not take that one because I don't like easy winners. I like the winners that you get tortured for 3 hours at a time. All right, so this one is. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. This one is a bearish setup as well. So this is the ATR line, the blue line, and that's the same here, right? So if it touches that line, it proves that's a bearish setup. That touched, this is bearish. I cannot take barks and licks here because algo guy's not in that direction. So there's nothing for me to do on the short side right here, per se, but I have different areas I look at. Like you guys have been seeing, the first one we showed was the Izzy zone, so let's just see where we were. Really no Izzy here. This did stop at the high volume node of this balance. So I don't draw every high volume node because there'd be line zones everywhere, but you can just eyeball that. That's exactly where that stopped, right? So there was nothing up there to take the trade. This is a pretty important area so far. I can't take an Izzy long off of here because this volume event that just happened proved to be a bearish setup. But say we move a little lower and I get another one, I can take an Izzy long. This is pretty crucial what happens with this guy right here. All right, so if this comes back and gets through this area, so there's your balance. Balance is just two-sided trade. We're traders are placing bets. If that gets through that area, I'd say 50, 75-ish, just an area. It's not an exact price. That would be a fail breakout of this structure. And then I would expect that. And there is nothing down here to stop this thing from where this thing just ripped. So keep an eye on that. Right now, it's still bullish, still intermediate term bullish, and short term, right? Well, not short term. Short term, it's selling off. But the point is, this is still in a bullish state. If it gets through there, I'm going to change my whole tune. So that's what I'm waiting for here. My trade room said there was another event. I don't see the other event unless they were pieced together here. Let's see here. I'm not seeing that. Unless it's over here. Yeah, I would not. I don't know if this. Is this what you're talking about here? Yeah, I don't know why that one didn't draw it. Oh yeah, it did. That's the original one. So what? I'm not seeing the other event there, Gabriel. So I personally wouldn't. You got to be very careful. And if you get an event, so my threshold. So threshold meaning the amount that's tradable for me, right? There's different thresholds for different markets. So mine for NQ is 150. So if you see 130, it will not. It's not going to draw. So these are all set to my thresholds, right? And then you see like another 120. Well, it might not draw, but you want to be eyeballing, and then you can draw it manually, right? I'm just not seeing that. He's claiming. Let's see what he has here. So this is what he just posted. I don't know the size of this. Oh, you're saying the stop run here? 172. I'm not seeing that. I mean, these were back to back to back. Yeah, I guess you could draw this. I hate bringing together events just to barely get to threshold. Those have not worked out in the past. I don't like doing that very, very often. So you got 62. So the other thing that's happening here, right? So his clock, well, that didn't really reset at the minute, but it depends on if your clock is set how you're seeing these events, right? So the way you want to do this, if you want to at least be following what I'm doing and see the same thing, you go to your clock, all right, and then you set it. Make sure you sync it to this time.nist.gov, right? And then because I have these set, why? Because this is set for 10 seconds. So this is drawing for 10 seconds, and then once that 10 seconds is up, it stops drawing. Well, you can see it keeps coming in. So if his clock is off, he's going to see more stops in that area versus me. See what I'm saying? So that's why you want to make sure your clock. All right, so that all doesn't matter anyway because a new setup just happened. But it's a good exercise. One, to be watching your market to make sure you're not missing events, but make sure your clock's set correctly, or you're going to be getting different areas or different drawings than I am. It's on the subchart, so doesn't matter. Here's a actual event right there. Just drew with the drawing tool, 200 buy ice. So we know, we just went over this. This is now pulled bearish. Let me turn this down a little bit, guys. So I could take barks and licks to the downside there. Let's see if there's anything on the bull side, buy side. Nothing here. So right here, we're not quite at this Izzy zone here, which is a pretty important zone. It's not there yet. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So nothing on the bullish side there to take trade. Let's check our other areas, my other areas that I look at. You can see that bumps right off of VWAP. Nothing here. So the other areas I look at obviously are the Ludwig levels. We call them lugs. Incredible support and resistance areas. So if I get set up, again, all I'm looking for is real-time volume events at my important areas that I deem important. You may have your own. You may love trading VWAP. Great. Then you look for volume events at VWAP. And follow the rules. You can follow mine. Highly recommend it until you watch about 4 million of them, and then you can come up with your own rules. That's the whole idea. Right, so I don't see anything on the bull side to take this trade. I don't take trades off of VWAP unless I don't have a trading strategy for VWAP. I'll get out of some of my positions at VWAP if it's confluent with something else, but that's not happening here. And I see nothing. The other areas I look at are market profile composites, meaning days that are merged, the highs and lows. Like yesterday, if I would have got, I can't remember if I took this, but if there was an event there, you get short. If this came down here and I got an event, then I would take that long. But right here, we're in the middle of nowhere, so there's no potential longs for me besides actually no longs right now because algo guy's bearish. So there's nothing for me to do on the long side here. On the short side, if this confirms as a bearish setup, and once again, that's if it touches this ATR line, which is down here, that is going to be a bearish setup. And you want to make sure your ATR, so the developer, Johan, he's a member of the trade room, he's the one, this is his baby, this drawing tool. This is, I trust his ATR more than I trust Thinkorswim's, but I've been using Thinkorswim's forever. But he's updating this. I just talked to him the other day. It's going to update every minute versus every 5 minutes. So you can see right here, this is showing the ATR is 28.40. See in the bottom left there. And then this ATR on Thinkorswim is 24.83. So that's a significant difference, right? So when the ATRs are close or these ATRs are correct, again, I'm going to just stick with Thinkorswim until Johan gets this updating more. Then you can trade directly off of the zone drawing tool, right? This is telling me everything I need to do. So say this confirmed. Just say I was going to take longs off this, which I'm not, but this would be the confirmation price to make this a bullish setup. Then say we got one of these, and this is my entry, and then my stop is at the other yellow line, the other way, right? So when you have this, you don't have to have the spreadsheet, but you want the spreadsheet for times when the ATR is off, so on and so forth. So I'm going to plug this one in the spreadsheet. You can see, so all you do here, you go to your product. So you guys have, the subscribers and my trade room have a different looking spreadsheet. I mean, we can do it on this one too if you want. Let's see, just to make it more uniform. All right, so open that up. So you put the ATR right now is 25.15. Zone top 118. Oh. You see it right over here on the left. Zone bottom 18.6.75. Then you enter in what your account size is and what you're willing to risk. Again, I'm doing these Apex accounts for these different trading strategies, right? So these are all. So I've changed what I've been doing. I've been doing webinars for Bookmap for the last, and my trade room. My trade room's going to be 3 years. It'll be 3 years in April, but I used to just basically take trades, everything, this stuff was all in my head, and then we finally broke it down to all these different trading strategies, and we'll keep track of the stats. I'm just trying to get each one of these live. 4 of them are close to getting live. It takes a while if you're going to be even at 10% risk, right? So this is the Apex stuff. Actually, where's this at? I gotta find this. Hold on here. I always post this because there's always new traders on here. Let's see, right here. I will post this in the room. I'll put this in too. Sorry. Alright, so that's that. Let me post this. And if you guys got questions as we go through the webinar, please put them in YouTube. Don't put them in Discord because I'm not going to hop back and forth between both comment sections. So just comment. So like last week or 2 weeks ago, no one was seeing my screen in Discord and they're like commenting in there. I don't see that. So just come in here to let me know you can't see the screen and I'll update it or refresh it. Anyway, quickly, here's the zone drawing tool. This is the basic version, right? This shows you, it does give you ATR, but then it just draws the zones for these volume events for you, right? And that's about it. The Pro is what I'm using here, and that's not available yet, but again, you get the Pro Beta, and you get this right away to test if you get the basic, right? So the Pro's only is going to be like $20 or more, or something like that. Again, it's Johan's baby, so whatever he wants to charge for it, it's going to be, it'll be reasonable. It's not going to be silly, but I mean, this saves you a ton of time, basically. And it's awesome now because you've been hearing it. It's letting me know when these volume events turn bullish or bearish, meaning validated. It's an incredible tool, right? And you don't miss trades. Not anywhere near as often as I was, right? Because if you're not staring at the thing, you don't know. I mean, you hear when the volume events go up, but you don't know if it confirmed to the upside, downside, so on and so forth. So anyway, this is the Pro, and we'll go over the reversion stuff too, because that's a different part of it. But that's those dotted lines there. Here's my course. Again, if you want to understand what I'm doing, when you come in my trade room, yes, you can learn, but I'm trading live. I don't have time to go over everything in the basic format, right? So this is the course here. It goes over everything, from adding Bookmap to the settings, to the product thresholds, to the all the settings for subchart and sweeps indicator, and then how to draw the zones if you don't have the drawing tool. And then this is basically progresses because we're doing it kind of wrong at the beginning. Not kind of, it was wrong, and then we've adapted to the correct drawing of the zones. So it kind of goes through that progression. And then these are the actual setups I take. So these are specific setups, and we've named them. They're kind of funny names, memorable names, right? So there's 6 of them so far. There's still one I'm still working on. I'm not seeing it as successful as I want to see it, so I'm still working on that one. It's called Hot Knife Through Butter, but we're still working on that one. But anyway, then the main ones, and we'll go over these as they happen: Dumb and Dumber, Stop and Hold, Titanic, Broken Ice, Double Whammy, Step Bros, right? So these are the volume events that I look for in my important areas, and that leads me to the trading strategies, right? So I look for those volume events, those names, Double Whammy, Broken Ice, at these areas. So like I tell you every week, you may have most of you have other areas that you look at that you think are important, and that's absolutely fine. I highly, highly recommend with every fiber of my being that you look for these events, aka Broken Ice, Double Whammy, Titanic, at your important areas. Then you have a real edge. So if you think your area is important, that's an edge in itself, right? But any area you're using, you see sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, you can chalk it up to, oh, that's just trading probabilities. Most traders don't think like that, and that's the right way to think. But I have my important areas, and like the lugs are one of the most important areas I've ever seen. I still don't take trades off of the Ludwig levels unless I get a volume event. Why? Because this is what's happening real time, and these are loaded up traders. So somebody came in here, tried to sell heavily, ran into a bunch of buy eyes, hidden orders in the order book that are only triggered once they're trading into. So all they have to display is like 10% of the, so say like for instance this was 200. Well, in the order book it looks like 20. Someone comes down and they get all aggressive and they sell into the 20, and there's another 180 behind it. And that's what triggers that. And you're seeing that hidden orders that's not so hidden anymore, right? So these areas, paper stepped in and bought it a bunch, threshold, aka a bunch, and someone sold that. Someone who sold that's not feeling real good right now, right? So that's the whole point. So say this was VWAP, right, or pretty close to it. Say you love VWAP, okay? Well, now you got something that's going to be the what's the word I'm looking for? I just said, the fuel for the move, right? Because the sellers in here are offsides, got to puke. That's the whole idea of the premise of what we're doing in here. And it is the ultimate edge that I've ever seen in futures trading. Like I say 50 times a day. So you can see this volume event, this zone did hold. I didn't get a volume event, bullish volume event in there, so I did not take the trade. The area worked, the area held, but for me, I need to see a volume event there. I didn't get it, I didn't take the trade, and I'm fine with it, right? Because over the long run, if you just take trades in these areas, I know I'm going to be much more successful waiting for a volume event with my rules. All right, I got to take a breath here. Any questions? Why not punch the ATR into a fib tool and drop by moving? I don't know. You can ask Johan. Come in my room and ask Johan. I don't draw this. I didn't develop this. I gave him the idea and he did everything. So he's a pretty smart cookie. I'm nominating him for induction to the Trading Hall of Fame when that ever comes about, because this tool is incredible. All right, so nothing's going on yet. This is a bearish setup, but I can't do anything to the short side, like I said, for me, because algo guy's still bullish and there's no other areas to go short here per se. So I just got to sit and wait there. We'll come back to more trading in the zone rants. Let's just go over the rest of this real quick just so you guys can see. So once again, you don't need, this is the stuff I use with my trading. This is the stuff I use there. But so if you want the charts and the zones, that's what this is. If you can come to my trade room, you get them for free. If you're not, you can get the spreadsheet that we're using. That in itself is a godsend, right? You just plug in the zones. It tells you everything you need to know, that your entry, your stop, your sizing, position sizing, all that's the most important part of trading. Because if you're not following this kind of process with your trading, you're not going to make it. If you're just haphazardly throwing in different sizing and everything, one time you trade a 5 lot, another time you trade a 10 lot, it's not going to go well for you, right? So this is telling you everything. You put in the zone, you put in the ATR. It's telling you where you get in, where you get out, and it tells you put in your size of your account. You put on what you want to risk per trade. I'm risking $500 a trade. It's telling you how many you can put on the big contract or the MES, and you have everything right here. This is step one. If you don't get this down, you just stop wasting your time, right? You get this down, and then you find the edge, and then you follow these exact prices, right? Or whatever you're using. But I'm telling you, if you're just winging it, it's not going to end well for you. That's all I got to tell you. What else here? So that's that website. Here's my email. You have questions. There's my Twitter, Trade Room again. That's this. This is where you get everything, all that stuff that I'm showing for nothing, and then you get also, discounts off the course and the mentoring. If you want the one-on-one mentoring, that's all part of it. You get that discount with the Trade Room. That's that. And then this is the stuff that I use in my trading, right? You have to have, you don't have to have anything, but if you want to follow what I'm doing and follow what is the most important factor in the markets, that drives the markets, in my opinion, then you absolutely need Bookmap, basic subscription. You pretty much, you want Global Plus, right? So this goes over the different, let's see here. I think it shows you the difference between them. I'm just showing you guys this now because there's nothing going on, but you can see the comparison. It's somewhere over here, but you want Global Plus because Global Plus gives you the sweeps, and that'll help you draw the zones if you're drawing them manually and everything else. Plus, you want to see the sweeps anyway. And then you need the MBO bundle that powers the SI indicator. That's the zones. That's what's drawing. That's this stuff, right? And you get Market Pulse with that right now too. We'll go over Market Pulse hopefully. That gives you price change algo and everything, and that was that one. We'll go over that. But this is the SI indicator subchart, and then you have the on chart as well. And you need the on chart for the zone drawing tool anyway. So the zone drawing is going off of the on chart, so you have to have that if you want to get the zone drawing tool. And then this is Apex. We'll go over that a little bit. Highly recommended you guys. If you're practicing or you have a small account, then I highly recommend you do one of these things. Like it's the same thing. And you practice and you do well. All of a sudden you're funded, and then you have to risk your own money. And trading's a whole different animal. We'll get into this too when you don't have pressure, right? This is all on the Twitter. We'll go over this, how to overcome performance pressure. Well, when you're not worrying about paying your mortgage or your car payment, if you have a losing trade, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Because when you're trying not to lose, you will lose. Trust me. And it goes for trading, gambling. If you're trying not to lose, you are going to lose 100%. Maybe you might win a couple, but if you're trading scared or betting, if you have sports betting or whatever, you're going to lose in the long run, because it's probably going to be on a short run because you just don't make the same decisions, right? So we'll go over that stuff too. Hopefully, we got a lot we're going over this webinar. All right, hold on, there's stuff firing up. I got this turned down. I'll go over the rest of the stuff that I'm using. Alright, so this this is the alert page. If you want to pull this up, you just go to, so this is telling me all these events too, and then the validated with the pro drawing tool, stuff like that. Go to file, alerts, and you get that, right? So you hear it, but I'm talking, so I'm not hearing it. So I got to just go back, tells me the time, it tells me when this stuff all fired off. So this is basically soybeans that's firing off here. We'll go over there in a second, since nothing's going on right now. We might as well do it right now. Just take a peek. So there was a bias event earlier that I was eyeballing, and then it ripped out of there. And now here's some sell ice. So step one is I'd have to draw the zone, right? So this is drawing the zone, just drew the zone for this sell ice that just happened here. So I just want to see if I'm going to merge these. So, it's not drawing this one because it's not picking up as threshold. So I got 200 as threshold for soybeans. But you can see, this is very likely a continuation of this sell ice. So you probably want to incorporate that because when you add them up, it's meaningful, right? So this one was threshold by itself. It was 464. Then you had another 118, another 90, and another 161. So I personally would make this one big zone. So some of the there is subjectivity in some of this stuff, right? Most of it's very straightforward. There's going to be times where you got to make a decision. Hey, do I want to include this? I do, right? So I would bring that up to there. That's 44. So with the zone drawing tool, it's adjustable. Bring it up here. So that's how I would have that zone. And once you adjust it, everything adjusts for you too. As long as the ATR is right, it's going to tell you when it confirms the upside or downside, so on and so forth. So that's the zone that I'm using, 44 to 39.50. I don't think this ATR is correct though. See, this is showing 2.44, and this ATR is showing 2.13. So again, this is in beta mode. We talk about it once you have the basic. I'll send you the directions on the beta. But you just don't. This is why it's beta. Don't fully rely on this ATR right now. So if the ATR is off, then you just jump to the spreadsheet, right? So let's just plug this in real quick. 44 to 39.50. And do not discount these other markets, guys. The money's just as green in here. I say it every day. I've been catching huge. I caught a 20-cent winner in wheat last week. I caught a 15-cent winner in soybeans on Monday. I think it was Monday. Like, the stuff moves, right? Why sit there and stare at markets that are doing nothing, like these equities right now? Go to the most active market. And with the zone drawing tool, as long as you have the product up here, it's going to announce if there's an event. So you're like, oh, wait, it's soybeans. Let me hop over here. Oh, there's some copper stuff. Let's see what's going on over here. I'm going to go trade copper, right? As long as you have the thresholds and, something that I'm using like the spreadsheet, you just plug the stuff in. It tells you how much you can trade, and you take advantage of movement in other markets. If you're not doing that, you're wasting opportunity, in my opinion. All right, let's go back here. All right, so that's step one. I got it. We got the zone. Step two is spreadsheet and or on the chart if the ATR is correct, like I said. Now let's see where we're at. See if we are in an important area where this volume event is occurring. My important area. So this is an IZZY zone, right? Volume event at this is my IZZY zone. This is where this gap down as well, right back to where this gap down. That's important. Volume event, this fails, I'm taking the short, and not that paper's always right, big money is not always right, but they're right more often than they're wrong because they're the big money and they push the market around. They're selling here too, right? You got probably close to 1,000 sell ice here. That's a lot for soybeans, by the way. So if this fails out of here, first move out of here, I'm taking the short. That's the show. Actually, it's going to be a little different because the ATR is wrong. Look at the bottom there. It says 36.75. Again, I'm using the spreadsheet for this one. Make sure I have the accurate ATR. This is showing 37, so it's off by one tick. So in this case, everything's in here. If I'm going to go short, I go short at 11.37, and it tells me the size I can put on 1.05. Obviously, there's no 0.05 in the regular contract. So I can either round up or just trade a normal size. And we got some Fed clowns coming out here too. Fed chirping, as we call it. Let's just see where we're at here. There might be other trades here too. We know it's an IZZY trade, important area. Let's see where we are here. And by the way, this is why we use the lugs. Look at that. It just, like for instance, if you just traded this blindly, that's a 14-cent winner, right? I wait for volume events there, but the point is they're powerful in their own right. A powerful, important area, right? So this is a good example of what I would do here for the market profile too, because I want to see where we're at here. So this was already a composite, meaning days were already merged here. That's why you see the blue box. This day was outside that day, so I would not merge that in there, meaning the value area, aka 70% of the trade that occurred that day, was outside, did not overlap that value area, so I would not merge it. But then the third day overlap this one and that one, I'm going to combine it. So this is one, and then make a new composite. So I'd merge this one, and I would merge this one, and there you go. So you can see here, we're at the point of control. But this is kind of giving me a story today, right? So this looks pretty bearish. This looks bearish as of right now, but what might happen here, this is actually a really important area for soybeans. Why? Well, this is a balance area. This is all I talk about, guys. This is just structure. It's traders loaded up. Tried to break down. Here we are. What's that? That's the high volume node. If this can get through this zone here, I would be trading double size longs because if that's a failed breakdown. We already were looking at, what market was it? Oh, this is a failed breakdown too. This is what we talked about earlier, why I was bullish NASDAQ, but I still haven't done anything based on my rules. That's a breakdown. That's a failed breakdown. Rip through that. So that's why I'm bullish. So nothing's really happened here, you know. And this is not bearish. Put in a huge buying tail, right? So if I get a bullish setup, as long as I'll go guy for the Barks and Licks, if I get a bullish setup, I'm still trading double size on the long side. But anyway, back to this. That's the same scenario that's happening here. So a little higher, I would be trading. So say I don't get filled, I'm going to put on this Izzy trade. I'm a day trader, right? I just said that's about to look very bullish. If this fails, I'll still put on that short. But if this turns bullish, I'm going to trade Barks and Licks to the upside. And you see the liquidity up there. I'm going to trade at double size because that's going to be a failed breakdown of that balance area I just showed you. And then back to this, the story you're getting is what? This tried to break down out of this on the open. Got back inside. When markets get back inside their value areas, the tendency, what usually happens is they go to the other side. That's already on its way. So what you really want to do is watch what it does up here. If it can break out of here, then this thing's coming up to that stuff. So, and actually I should be, could probably merge these all here. Let's just merge these real quick. And I want no eye rolling because I'm on soybeans and you don't trade soybeans. It's all the same stuff. If you understand what I'm doing here, then you can apply it to any market that you want to. So that's how I would do that. So when you merge them and you see the market responding to these areas, then you know it's right? So you can see this market launched right out of this thing. This is a single day and then another composite. So if this gets through this here, I would, and that we just looked at the failed breakdown of the balance area, I think this can motor up to there. Does it mean today? No, but wouldn't surprise me one bit. All right. So that's my thesis of that. In the meantime, this fails out of here. I'm taking an Izzy short. So that's all in the spreadsheet. What I was looking at, remember I said why I got on that tangent is because this is showing 1.05. So do I want to round up to 2 on the short side? No, I just went over a bunch of reasons why this thing looks like it's going to rip. I'll still take the short, but I'm going to take it normal size so I can put on a whopping 1 guy. You can trade the XB or whatever it is. It's like the micro for soybeans. It's pretty thin, and you're gonna get some slippage. So slippage is, if you have a stop run at a price or your stop's at a price, well, it goes to fill your stop and there's no contracts there, so it like swipes up, like you get filled like 3 cents worse, stuff like that. That's what slippage is. Or if you go market, so say you put in a market order, there's nothing there to buy, so it swipes up, right? Versus the regular product. So that's why I'm not trading XB, but so I will short 1 at 37 on the Izzy. Let me put that in. Any questions? Throw them in the chat. All right, that is working. Let's see what's going on here. Be nice to get some activity here. All right, so you could see that this is the tendency, right? We have a trade. Remember I said I get into the reversion trades. Well, we have a trade for this exact occurrence because it happens ridiculously often. That's this part of the spreadsheet. So these dotted lines is this. That's this, right? So yes. So see how accurate this was. I never plugged this zone in. 509,450. So this is more of a scalper mentality type, right? So every person has their natural tendency of how they like to trade. Most people want to scalp, right? Because it's just less painful sitting in trades and watching your stuff whipsaw you to death. I was born a scalper, right? I process things very quickly. I hate sitting through this whipsaw nonsense. But this day and age, I'm not scalping for a reason. So like you all know my story. I've made millions of dollars scalping in and out, in and out, in and out. Why don't I do that anymore? Because I don't like millions of dollars? Probably not. It's probably because you can't do it successfully playing against computers all day long, right? There are ways to scalp. We have different strategies that you can scalp. I get so many emails on how to scalp off the damn dome. You can't. Good luck. If you think you can do it, you show me results for 6 months, even a month. I want to even see 1 month of success. And all you do is trade off the dome, and I'll put you in my trading hall of fame. How about that? I'll actually have you come on and you can do a webinar and show how you do it. That would be great, because it's not possible, in my opinion. Clicking a mouse, trading off of this thing. This stuff is so fleeting, right? These used to be 1,000 lots up in the book, and they were real. So that was another thing I used to do, right? So say we get, it looks like this in the order book, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 on the offer side, and I want to go short. I sell 1,000. Well, I know if I'm wrong, I could turn around and peel out on these dudes, right? Nowadays, first of all, there's nothing even in here. It's 100 lots, 150 lots. And it's fleeting. So you'll see a 150 lot, it comes up there and it turns into a 15 lot. Well, how the hell are you going to get out? Now you got to chase it up. Stop thinking you're going to make money off of that, in my opinion. There are scalps. So once again, this is one of our scalping. It's generalized scalping, right? Where it's a shorter term trade. So you can see these dotted lines here. So what I was doing was plugging the zone in. And I'll show you. I did that. ATR. So when it came down here, it was right around 8:15 my time. I just want to see the ATR to see where I would have been in this trade. Hold on, I gotta get over here more. I mean, it's already in here, but so you see there, actually it was down here. ATR was 4.78 at that time, right? So this is what you had to do when we were doing this by hand without the spreadsheet. You have to continuously update your ATR for the reversion trade. So that's this part. So I would have been long at 87.50. Stops at 81.75. That's the 1 ATR, the 2 ATR, the 3 ATR. So quickly, I haven't shown this that much in here. So these are the percentages that my room moderator came up with for us, right? So if you look at this, these are the winning percentages for each trade, or what you have to be to break even. Sorry, the 1, you got to be a 60% trader just to break even. I firmly believe if you take all of them, we just signed the contract with a trading firm. We're getting this automated where it's going to be firing off these reversion trades on its own, because I can't keep up with them. That's why I'm not taking them on the webinars. But I firmly believe that 1 ATR is a 70% or better winning trade. But you got to take them all, just like a casino, deal all the hands, right? The 2 ATR is you got to be a 42% trader. Not too bad, right? That's definitely, and it shows you the risk reward right here. So the one ATR is actually, it's a 1.5 to 1. That's not great, right? So you may say, I don't want to take the ones, or you're a junkie and you love every trade, then you're taking the ones all the time. But it's only 1.5 to 1. That's not great, right? But that's why you got to be 60% or better. If you're 70%, you're still going to make money, right? See how that works? Here's the 2. You got to be a 42%. This is a 1.38 to 1. So I'm sorry, the other one was 0.5 to 1 basically. So you're risking 1 to make 0.5. That's not a great trade. Overall it's fine. This one, you're making 1.3 on your money, on your risk, right? That's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. But these are very active trades, right? You're taking a bunch of them. This one, the 3 ATR, you only got to be a 34% winner, and that's a 2 to 1, almost a 2 to 1 trade, right? So you can just say, I'm just taking 3s. The problem with that is you may not get down to the 3 and the thing snaps back to the zone and you're like, damn, right? So this is a good example here. The dotted lines are the entry points for this. So this should be right on. Actually, it might not be right on because the ATR might have been different here. This was showing, let's see what this was showing. Yeah, 4.74. So this should be right on. So the 1 ATR was 87.50. These are these dotted lines. 87.50, this was the one, I think. Look at the bottom left there, 87.50, right? So this was the 1 ATR reversion entry, right there, that dotted line. The stop for that are these dashed dotted lines. This one never sniffed a stop out. I think the 1 is the only thing I fired off here. So you see right there is your entry. This would have been your stop. That is at 81.75? 81.75. That's exactly what should be in here, 81.75, right? And so all the trade is you're getting in at the 1, 2, or 3. This one was the 1. Stops there. You're out at the zone. That's the trade. So this is a perfect example. If you're like, oh crap, man, if the 2 and the 3, those are way better winning percentages, I'll just wait for those. Well, guess what? That one you didn't get filled, and it came back to the zone. The 1 worked. You didn't get filled on the 2 or the 3. So you see what I'm saying? So you gotta, yeah, you can wait for 2s and 3s. It hurts when you're like, damn, man, I had that 1 and I didn't take it. So we have other ways you can look at this too. So just quickly, because nothing's going on as usual. This is Market Pulse. This is what you get with right now. I'm pretty sure it's still part of the MBO, right? So this is the price change algo. So this has nothing to do with traded volume. This is just showing you every time there's a outsized price change, according to these algos, whatever the hell they're using. This is based on a 5 minute, so this is this quickly. Bruce did a webinar. I've been posting it every week. If Dan's on here, if you could post that webinar again, that'd be great. He talks about this algo, right? So that is Market Pulse. So you go literally hit create, and it's the default version right here. Price change, here's your settings. It's all default. I've changed nothing on this one. 5 minutes, and it's showing me, I might have changed it. No, it's 90% of threshold. So it's just telling me when there's a big price change, and you can see these algos. There's algos in here that trade off of that occurrence right there. But see, the only, I'll show a bunch of them here, right? First of all, you never know how far it's going to pop back. Like there was one here, right? Snap back a little bit. There was another one here. That one moved decent. There was another one here that might have been close to the threshold there, right? So what I'm saying, I'm not saying you come in here and you start scalping off of the price change algo, but what you can do is it helps you in a couple different ways. This is more advanced stuff, guys, by the way. If you don't know what you're doing with the volume events, I wouldn't even bring this thing up, right? But once you get better, say I'm looking to get short here, right? And we do this, and here's my short. And then I see as we come down to this entry line, the thing's doing a price change like it did there. Well, you can hold off for a second and say this is probably going to bounce here because that's what they do, right? It's a catch-22 because there's going to be times this thing could price change for 20 points. If big money comes in here and starts unloading, these price change algos are going to get their heads ripped off. But that's all built into their profit loss stuff, right? They know there's going to be times that the big money comes in and does their thing and they get run over trying to play this move, right? But that's probably 5% of the time, 10% of the time. The other 80% of the time, they're whipsawing everyone to death. So they take their loss when that happens, and then they go back to whipsaw. So my point is, when you get to these important areas, either a reversion trade, and you're deciding if you want to, this is how I got on this tangent, if you're deciding if you want to take the 1 reversion, you can say, oh, there's a price change. I already know the 1's a good ATR. The 1 ATR is a very good chance it snaps back. All right, I'm going to take that one. See what I'm saying? But, no, we got Fed talk right now, too. So the other way is, say I'm looking to take a position trading short. This has nothing to do with reversion. Now I'm looking for a position. Well, when it gets to my entry and I see a price changing, I may want to pull back and wait a second and wait for it to pop back and get a better price, right? You are risking, if big money comes in right when you're doing that, you're going to miss the trade. So that's stuff you guys, this stuff is advanced. I just want to show you guys because that's one of the price change algos. The other are the market pulse algos. The other one we're using, and there's actually great scalps off of this thing. This is the volume, pressure, and balance. And that is this one, right? So you can see when there's the most buying or selling in the last hour. I have mine, so this is, I do change this one. That's this one here. So you go, like here's bonds, doesn't actually, this one's done. Bond H is done. H is done. Delete these. But say we're looking at ES. And then we have order book pressure too. We'll look at that too if nothing's going on. That's another algo that you can look. Another market pulse algo. Where's volume, pressure, balance here? We'll just look at gold right now. It's the same stuff. So all I do is I change it to an hour. It's set for 5 minutes. I move it to an hour. So what that's telling me is I want to see, when you see this thing spike, it's showing you it's the most selling threshold. It hit 70% of the most selling of the last hour. That's important information, right? And this one, it worked. We have exact scalp trades that you can use to take that trade. So I'm not going to get into that right now, but that's the other market pulse. And then hopefully we'll look at order book here. Let's just see what's going on here. I've heard nothing fire off during these chirps, Fed chirps. So that's another thing too. You may decide you don't want to trade when these guys are talking. Every word out of their mouth could be new information. These algos pick up those keywords and it rips it in a certain direction. if you want to roll the dice, meaning say I'm sitting here waiting for this short. Well, you got to decide, hey, do I want to put this on? Because he says one bullish word, the thing rips off the page, and these things are, mean nothing at that moment, right? So that's what you got to decide if you want to trade when they're talking. A day like today, they're talking nonstop. You can see right here, this is also part of the trade room. You can get the squawk here. If I can find it. I've not put on a trade today, by the way. Nothing, not even pre-market, so I'm waiting for that. This is the squawk here. All right, so you can see Fed chirps, Fed chirps, Fed chirps. So just be aware, this is in my time, so this is Central's 1 hour later, so 12:15. This guy's chirping right now, and then you got another one coming out here in a few minutes. So you got to decide, you want to roll the dice when they're talking, fine, take the trade, but don't be pissed off if it rips in your face because they say something opposing to your position, is what I'm saying. Right now, I'll take the damn trade because I haven't put on a trade yet. So I just want to, I don't need to put on a trade, meaning I don't need the action, but it'd be nice to, go through examples on a live trading webinar where you actually live trade. All right, so let's see where we're at here. So you can see this is just kind of chopping around. What this is telling me, I'm coming up with a little bit of a thesis here, right? When the market tries to pull and it cannot pull that shorter term moving average, exponential moving average above, it's telling you something. And now it's tried it twice, right? And now back below. It's kind of telling me that is likely to happen. And I'm bullish this market, but once again, buyers are getting the green light to kind of push this thing, and no one's coming in. So we might get us off here. I don't know. Just looking at different things to come up with a thesis. Doesn't matter what we do here. I have my rules with my events, right? So the whole reason I use thesis is just because if I get everything aligned, then I'll trade bigger in that way. Otherwise, I'm taking trades both ways, regardless of what my thesis is. See how that works? All right. Any no questions? Fire him in if you got him. Smoke him if you got him. I don't smoke, but it's a joke. All right, see what's going on here. The other markets that I'm really paying attention to here. Oh, well, first of all, there was stops galore in gold. That's nothing new, but gold's just been sitting here. But you can see all these pukes. Like they started out small, and then you got the granddaddy. All right, so you had, turn this off real quick. This is right into the number, right? So you had and then it makes these look small, right? So this whopper here, the final one was 1,500. That's one of the biggest ones I've ever seen, by the way. So these were threshold. They look like nothing. 247. That was almost double threshold long. Stop run. 413. Stop run. That was that one. There was another one here too. This one looks like nothing. This was threshold because it drew the zone. 169. 400. 426. And then you had the granddaddy right here, another 1,500. So big time puking, and now it's just kind of sitting here. So this is an Izzy zone. You can see it's kind of struggling here. I can tell you though. So this is where it gets a little convoluted. Like you're like, okay, well, what do I do here? Because you guys, if you watch any of my webinars, I do not like entering trades. So this would be the entry point for this event. Right? If this turns out to be an Izzy short. But I'd be entering, you got nothing but events. So you got to either bite the bullet, and you got to remember here too, even if you go short here, you're very, very likely going to be tortured for hours. Why? Because as this market moves down back into these events, just imagine if, okay, there's stop runs firing off here. That means there were sell orders in the order book absorbing those stop runs. Well, if you have your orders in the order book and you get run over, and you're still in the trade, what are you doing? You're like, oh crap, that wasn't a good idea. Please come back. And as it comes back to these areas, these guys peel out that just got run over. So I'm not saying it can't go right through here. It's not going to, very, very unlikely. Even if this does work as a short, you're going to be being tortured because these guys that got run over on these stop runs are going to be saying, let me the hell out of my trade. That's how you have to think about it. Very simplistic, but I'm telling you, that's what goes on, right? The simpler you make your trading, the better you're going to do. All right, so anyway, so there's two different reasons where I'm probably not going to take a short here, right? This is an Izzy zone, but at one, I'd be entering in a prior event. Two, I know it's got to go through all of this size for me to get the winning trade. I don't even feel like thinking about that stuff today. So I'm just I'd be looking for longs right now in here. I rarely do that, but you rarely see stop runs for 200 ticks, right? That cover all those areas that I don't want to. It's just not, especially in gold. It's Algoville anyway, as you can see. So I would take longs because Algo guy is obviously bullish. And structure-wise, this thing looks very, very bullish, right? So I will take longs. I'm not taking shorts in that market today, unless it gets below all those stop runs that I just showed you. But this, I lost my chart as usual. Hold on. Thesis-wise, where is my chart? All right, we got some X. So that once again, this guy's obviously saying something. Market doesn't like it. We just talked about the algo guy looking like this would happen too. So here we go. I just want to show you a quick gold on why you definitely should be potentially looking long thesis-wise. I'll still take shorts. Not right here, I won't, but this is this is a really, I mean, this market looks like it's going to go off the page in the next few days, right? So you have, first of all, you have this whopper balance area, multi-week breakdown, right? That's the high volume node. So a little higher. Above this zone, I'm trading double size. I might trade triple size. So you have that as a failed breakdown, and it's almost through that high volume node. High volume node is just where the most trade occurred in a balance area, right? Pretty much the midpoint, right? And then you have here a breakout of current balance this way. So you get through the zone, you're breaking out of that balance, which it already has done, and then you get through that high volume node, then that looks to me like it's going to rip about $50. 500 ticks would be my guess. We'll see. Just a thesis. But meaning if I start getting long setups and more above this area, I'm taking double size at least. All right, here's a setup in Mr. NASDAQ. So algo guy is bearish. Did this confirm to the upside? I can't remember if this read this off or not. It'll tell you. So if you go over here, let's see if the long validated. Don't see that. Came pretty close. Now see, there's your iceberg. That's that. And it never validated to the long side. So what does that mean? It came close. You see it almost touched this ATR line, but it didn't do it, right? So what can I do here? Well, there's a couple things I can do. A couple things I will do. Algo guy's bearish, right? So I could take barks and licks, obviously off this one. So I'd have to touch this ATR, retest confirm. I'll take barks and licks to the downside. But I can still take this trade off of a prior event, and that's why it announces prior events too, if you guys have been hearing that. That's confirmed. That was this. That blue line. If it goes here, 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 I could take the short. I would not, this would be the entry for this event, that yellow line. I wouldn't take it right there because it's in the middle of this, but if it gets a little lower, I can take that short, and I can take that short, or I can take both shorts, depending on what happens here, right? So it's just as long as this volume event doesn't prove bullish. Meaning what? Meaning if this touches this ATR line, then I can't take a short off a prior event because I always default to the most recent event. As long, so this could retest this zone and fail, and I can still take the short. If it touches this invalidation for the short, I'm for this event because it's the most recent. I'm not taking a short off of that event. So hopefully you follow that. So we'll see what happens. There's a way I can still take that and that. If this turns bullish, let's see if this is an Izzy long. This is an Izzy long. So you see I have different trading strategies that I've got fired up in my head. What I'm going to do here. Right there. Volume event. And this important. This is basically the top of this balance too. Right? This has been back here from all this other stuff. And it's still important. So I've got two different trades I can take here. Two different scenarios. If this turns bullish, I could take the Izzy long. My entry for that is this yellow line. Right? We could plug this in the spreadsheet too. That's coming up here right now. So let's just, and what's great about this, it gives you position sizing too. So you can plug all this in. I have right here, this is what I have in the spreadsheet. 5,000, risking 10%. I could put on 3 3 micros. You just times it. This is for regular size contracts. You just times it times 10. So I can put on 3. And this is all based on the ATR and everything else. Let's just make sure the ATR is right here. 29.3. 27.11. So I'm not using, I'm going to use I got to use the spreadsheet here to make sure this is accurate. 82.50 to 66.75. 17,982. Better hurry up here or I'm going to miss the damn trade. 82.50. 17,966.75. So ATR is, I lost the ATR. 2.7 or 27.11. Just means it's rotating about 27 points every 5 minutes. So this long is at 1375. I'll put on 4. I'll round up. So that's going to be a little off here. This is showing my entry at 1625, right? Because this is reading as a higher ATR right now. Again, this is beta, guys. So just cross-check it with whatever ATR you're using. I'm using 5-minute Wilder ATR. So I'm going to go long for Izzy. This is the Izzy trade. That's this right there at 1375. So let me put that in. See if we can actually put a trade on the live trading webinar. That's working. That's not working because it's the wrong account. Hold on. Hold on. All right, that is working. So if this touches actually I want to make sure I'm above this prior event. Yeah, that's fine. The prior event at the top of it was 1125. My entry's at 1375. But you can see where this just failed. Where did it fail? This is why I don't like entering in prior events. Right at the prior event. So there's still a way I could still take a short off of this and this. This just retested this, right? We just talked about this scenario. So I'm taking an Izzy long if it gets up there and or bark lick shorts. Let's just make sure there's liquidity below here. Sure there is. Maybe not. So you can turn all this on and off too, right? So if you don't say you don't want these reversion trades, you can turn them off. Come over here. Go over here. Advanced. What's great about this is it gives you the thresholds and say I don't want to see the reversion 1, 2, or 3. There you go. Take them off. You got to take the stops off too, but no, that should take off the stops too, should it not? Hold on. I don't know why the stop's still in there. Oh, you know why? Because this is prior stuff. So I took it off now. Oh, there it goes. It's off. It's gone. So if you don't want to see the reversion trades, take them off. I do. So I'm going to keep them on. Where's the... There's so many things on here. I lose the... There we go. Actually, I'm on it. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been talking too much. So I'm going to put these back on. There you go. All right, so if this holds, comes back down, I'm trading off a short off of this event, first and foremost. That entry is right here. Or it's not exactly that because that's the different. So let's plug this zone in, this prior zone in, and I'll know my exact entry with the current ATR. That's that. Let's put this zone in. The prior zone, I already have the prior zone in, right? Just got to make sure the ATR is up to date, up to the minute. 25.81 now. So that's the beauty of the zone drawing tool. Once we get the ATR in, it adjusts. You don't have to keep coming in into the spreadsheet to enter in the ATR. It's adjusting for you to tell you the exact price entries and stops, right? So if this does come back, it looks like this is going to rip and I'll be long the Izzy trade. My entry would be at 77 and I could put on 4. That's right there. See that? 4. There you go. That's my trick. So NQ Izzy long retested. Now, this is this. So first of all, most of the time Izzy's are not waiting for the retest confirm anyway. There are, I mean, I shouldn't say most of the time. If the mark, we talked about this earlier. If they're sitting in a zone or it's above or below, immediately above or below, say the zone's immediately above or below balance, Well, I want to wait for a retest confirm for that. That's all rules you'll learn in my trading room if you come in there, right? I'm going to have a course on that too. I just haven't got around to it, surprisingly, to making it or finishing it. I started it. But no, this still hasn't even validated as a long setup. That's the ATR line. So again, it's a little off. So the actual validation for this event, again, this is what you got to do if you're doing it manually, 25.97. I got to keep doing this because the ATR is off a little bit. That validation price is 0850. So that actually got there. See that? That is, oh wait, it's right there. Hold on. Might not matter on this next wave up. Yeah, so that touched it exactly. So this is an official bullish setup. My shorts are off the table. Why? Because this most recent setup is now bullish. So I cannot take shorts off of that guy anymore or this guy. So all I got going for me, if I'm putting on a trade, is I'm going long Izzy. And again, it's at this price. Now I got to move it down to 12.25. I had it at 13.75. That's it. That's the trade. Izzy long. And that's this inflection zone. I'll take one more look to see if there's anything over here. And it's putting in yet another buying tail, which is not surprising because the market's bullish, right? So we'll see. This stuff's pretty mixed. And the other thing we were looking at too is hero. Lose the zero, get with the hero. See what this looks like. This is just the why is this only showing me? Where's the information at? Let's see here. Might need to refresh it. There you go. So the white is the market. The whatever color this is the hero. So Mag 7's going lower. That's not good for longs. It doesn't mean I'm not going to put on a long here. No. This is one entity, right? These options dealers get loaded up. They got to hedge with futures. But this is another thesis type of look, right? So say I'm like, yeah, I already love the long, and then you see hero going like this, Mag 7 and NASDAQ, then you're like, hey, I'm going to trade double size because of that. See what I'm saying? So there's different ways you can enhance your outlook at the market based on the stuff I'm using. And this all goes together. Like it's not, potentially, like this could be conflicting information. So if I go long here, this is kind of going down. You could, hey, if you want to put this in your trade plan, I'm not taking trades. That's great. That's an Izzy. I'm using Scott Izzy zones. I know that's an Izzy entry, but you know what? I'm not going long if I see hero doing this. Fine. Put that in your trade plan. That's not what I do. You don't have to do what I do, right? You don't want to do exactly what I do for everything. You want to come up with your own spin on things. That's the whole idea. So that's where people get like turned off, I guess, coming into my trade room. They think it's a buy here, sell here type of trade room. That's not what it is. It's teaching you guys how to do this for yourselves. Why the hell do you want to mirror anybody's trades? Why do you not want to think for yourself, especially when you're trading your money? Why do you want to rely on anybody if you're trading your money? Rely on yourself. Learn how to do this for yourself. Come up with your own variables for your trading strategies. So this could be a variable. Hey, I'm not taking longs unless I see hero moving up, right? I'm just giving you guys ideas. Come up, think for yourselves, and come up with your own trading plan. There you go, filled and validated too. So based on the ATR there. Actually, my fill was where this validated. This is just showing the ATR. This ATR is off though. Again, this is ATR is higher for some reason. All right, I'm filled. This guy's still talking too, so I chose to roll the dice while this guy's talking. This is one of my favorite scenarios where I get filled to the exact tick. That's my favorite because it happens about 10 times a day. But I'm in. Now my stop. So it's going to be pretty close to this. But if I'm trading off the chart, the ATR is correct. My stop would be right here. Yeah, see, this guy's still talking. So I'm accepting the results here with this clown talking. Right. So I'm. Why is that not showing the price? There it is. 34.75. Right. That's the ATR. That's the exit or stop. My stop for that long. For there, stop for this long here is 37. And the reason that because this is smaller, that's showing at 25.97. It's come down a little bit from there. And this is showing an ATR of 28.63. So that's why it's a wider stop, because this is showing a wider ATR. Because this is why this is in beta. So if you get the zone, if you get the basic zone drawing tool, I will send you the instructions. And the first thing it says I'll even show you this right here. Let's see here. This is what Johan said about the tool. So you got to be aware of this if you're going to do the beta, right? And not be sending messages to support like, "Well, this thing doesn't work." This is to my trade room, right? You're the first people to be able to beta test this. Testing is taking long respected bookmaker. You guys are eager to use it. You'll find it dead. ATR is unavailable for these because these are screwed up. They have weird session times, and not many people trade those anyway, so who cares? ATR needs to run at least an hour and a half to settle. He's changing this, but this is in beta mode, so it doesn't. You open up Bookmap, the ATRs are going to all be screwed up. It's got to take an hour and a half to settle. May crash, may destabilized. So the point is, it's beta. So if you want it, I think the potential problems, and I've had no real problems with it. The potential problems outweigh having all this information right away. We'll get it straightened out. But the point is, if you're doing the beta, don't be emailing me or him or support that the stuff's not working correctly. That's why it's called the beta. But if you get the basic zone drawing tool, you get access to this right away. I say right away because Bookmap's supposed to send me when someone signs up for the basic, the email. They will only do it weekly right now. So if you get if you go in and you get this basic, send me an email and say, "I just signed up for the basic. Could you send me the instructions for the beta?" And I'll give you the beta instead of waiting for. It's going to update tomorrow. They'll send me the new emails tomorrow. But say you sign up for it on Monday, send me an email and say, "Hey, could you send me the beta?" Or else you're not going to get it till Friday because I won't even know you bought the damn tool. See what I'm saying? I know that doesn't make sense. They claim they're changing it, so I get it right away, but I just don't have that information. So that's on the marketplace. I have no control over that. All right, I got to take a breath here. Let's see if you guys got questions. Gabrielle, Scott the Bison, Q validated long. I had a validate 36 quarter. What yours? Yeah, I've been talking about that came down and validated. Why? What invalidated? Yeah, this is invalid. You might have sent that a while ago. It's not showing the time, but yeah, I'm trading off of it. I got long off of this Dumb and Dumber. So one of my 6 setups, the dumb money puke, right there. It's a rejection. Not most times, but majority of the time, stop runs are just guys puking. It's not initiative buying or selling. That's information in its own right, And that is this. Already showed this, but this is this setup right here. So I look for a volume event, Dumb and Dumber, in an important area, my Izzy zone. And that's how I trade. Right there. Took the trade. Now, it's really doing nothing, but areas where I would be looking to get out of some of these, because I pay myself as the market makes money available to me, directly out of trading the zone verbiage, whatever the word is, right there. So these are the areas where if it struggles, I piece out of some. I'm always out almost all the time at a major lug because they're so powerful. But these are other areas where I'll get out of some. So let's look at some of these areas as this market, if this market moves higher. Oh, I thought I bought right into the red lug. By the way, that's what you can see. This is bouncing right off the lug there. That's beans. No surprise. That's why we use them, because they're ridiculously powerful. So this is really in the middle of nowhere for any other entries, but I will get out where I get in at 13. I would probably, if it struggles the other thing you want to watch is where the market is struggling or respecting that particular day. This is obviously respecting yellow lug, right? Yellow lug prior red. So it's already failed there a couple times. So this comes, if I get this up here and it starts to fail again, I got 4 out, I'll probably get out of 2 of them. Right, and I'll try to hold 2 to make it up to there. And then that's pretty much confluent with this area too. Let's see. Top of this market profile composite is at 50. And it's right there. Probably around 60. That's right there. So I'd definitely be out of all of them. I'll get out of 2 here if it struggles. If it rips right through, I'll hold it, and that's where you can use your tick strike. We haven't talked about that much. You can hear it in the background. That's this. And market pulse. We can look at our volume, pressure, and balance at those areas to see if it's going to push through there. If it doesn't, I'll get out of a couple, and then I'll try to hold some to my main target. and or an opposing volume event. Then I get a bearish event that I get out based on my rules. That's it, guys. It's very simplistic. I know it looks like I've got a ton of things going on. I really don't. Once you understand what I'm doing, everything slows down, and then you're like, oh, this is actually pretty damn stupid. And it is, and that's how I like it. There's nothing much basic than staring at this thing like I did for 5 years. Didn't even have a chart up, just looked at this back when you could and made millions of dollars. Does it get much simpler than that? No. So don't discount being simple in your trading, because it's the way to trade, in my opinion. The more stuff you try, the more you try to complicate stuff, the more you're going to sit there and be afraid to put on trades. You have all this conflicting information. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm not calling you stupid, but you know what I mean. All right. I've been talking a lot, as usual. I mean, I have to talk on the webinars, but it's just like I'm just nonstop, blah, 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 blah. All right, Gabriel said never mind, so yeah, that stuff was all prior that you guys were talking about there. All right, so, you know, Heroes heading down. Russell's always doing its own thing. Max 7, kind of just sitting here. NASDAQ, the overall NASDAQ is heading lower. You know, so that sucks for me for this trade, right? So far, if I get stopped out, at least I know why. That doesn't mean I'm hopping out of the trade because this thing's heading lower. No, I got my stop out. If it stops me out, guess what? Probabilities. Done with that. On to the next trade. On to the next trade. On to the next trade. As I tell you every week, if you're a professional trader, you're doing this for a living, this is what your P&L is going to look like most days. And then you have a whopper day, and then it's back to this. Then a whopper day, you're going to have losing days too. The whole idea is you want to only hit 5 to 6% of your account size on a losing day where you're done. So you don't have one of those or one of those where you go to zero, which happens to majority of traders, right? So if you have whopper days and then you contain your losers, you have pullbacks, drawdowns they call them, and then you're back to that. Most great traders, very profitable traders I should say, they only have 5 to 10 days, winning days in their P&L that make up their entire year. They understand that. They understand most days are going to be this nonsense, right? So like I tell you all the time, for those of you that are new, you think you're going to come in here and you're going to make $1,000 a day. You're not going to make $1,000 a day every day. You can average $1,000 a day, but you're going to be like this. And that kind of P&L day is going to average in with all this. And yeah, that could average out to $1,000 a day at the end of the year, $10,000 a day, $50,000 a day. I averaged 2003. That was my big year. I made $10 million. What do you have to average to make $10 million? There's 200 trading days in a year. You have to average $50,000 a day. So that's what I averaged. Doesn't mean I made that every day. It means at the end of the year, that's what I average. So stop coming in here thinking it's like you're going to work and you hit the time clock and you're going to get paid every week. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen ever, right? Yeah, you can have runs where you make money every day for a week, a month, or whatever, but you're going to have down days. It's not a job where you get paid every day. It's an average. I know that sounds very simplistic, but a lot of traders don't understand that for some reason. Or they're in la-la land and think they can make money every day. So it's not going to happen unless you're like Goldman Sachs that makes money 198 out of 200 trading days. Why is that? Well, we all know why, because they run the show, right? So they make themselves right. So if you got 50 billion to trade, then yeah, you can make money every day because you'll make yourself right until you run into a Goldman one day and they absorb all your orders and then run it in your face and then you lose 20 billion. Right, so all right, this trade just blows. It's been sucking terribly the last few days. Like the afternoon trade's been terrible. I've been canceling webinars just because there's nothing to do. You know, it's just like watching pay trade. Like this, look at this trade. This is horrific. It's done absolutely nothing. Look at this. That's really conducive. But what I guarantee is running the show is price change algo. Well, let's take a look. So like I said, even if you're not trading this, and I'm not telling you to trade this thing, at least you understand why the whole thing is whipsawing traders back and forth to death, right? That time this thing spikes, it moves the other way. Spike, 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 spike. You see? That was a little one, but you had another one here. That one pulled back. Here are these, right? So even if you're not trading off it, at least you can understand what is driving these markets. Because when you get a position trade on, and you're short, and it keeps doing this, it gets real damn annoying. And you take, I personally, it's always felt personal. I mean, you guys, I've told you that story many times. It was personal because I used to go head to head with a dude, and it was personal because you can see counterparty, and the guy was trying to blow me out, right? So I've carried that forward. It's not a good attribute to have. It's not an attribute. It's a can't think of the word, but it's not a good thing to be. The point is, most traders, because it's just human nature, you take it personally. Like, oh, look at that, they know what I'm doing. No, just look at this, and you know why you're getting driven crazy, because these algos pick up outsized moves, and they do this 80% of the time. And then the big money comes in, and it will keep going, and then it's back to this, kind of like a P&L that we just talked about, right? So the point is, if you know what's going on, at least you're not losing your mind, right? You're like, oh, that's just the price change algo. That's just running the show back and forth. So it's not a good trade right now. Not much you can do about it. That's another thing you got to accept as a trader. You're going to be in there in days, and it's just brutal. And it's been just brutal. The whole point is, don't be giving away a bunch of money when the trade sucks, right? You got traders in here that, like I said before, when we talked about this stuff, trading performance stuff, that are trying to make their rent or their car payment or whatever, right? And then what do? You force trades, right? This isn't really about forcing trades, but this is about the performance pressure. I'll put both these in these are Dr. Brett. This is probably the top trading psychologist on the planet. This is a guy, he was at my trading firm back in the early 2000s. He sat behind me for a year. He asked if he could sit behind me for a year to see what made me elite. And I said, sure. And I'm sure he really loved that. Probably still scarred, right? So this is this book that he wrote. And it's not all about trading, but it's about what makes elite performers elite. And this is this. And so I am in this book. I'm in the entire afterword, and I'm throughout the book. So he talks about what he watched from me being a trader, right? What made me elite at the time. I forgot why I got on that tangent. Oh, because we were talking about this stuff, right? So this is all about, I'm glad it's a good segue into this stuff, right? So there's traders in my trade room, right? So let's start with this first, right? This is the Apex stuff I was telling you about. So a lot of traders are in there doing this thing, right? Which is highly recommended if you're just starting out, if you want to practice, even if you don't want to risk your own money. Go in here, get funded. They got all these different deals. Again, use my, hold on, better off going this one. You can see it better. Use this code is for any sale. I don't like this new website, by the way. It's just, but use Pulcini 50, whatever they got going on, whatever sale they got going on, it applies to Pulcini 50. So you get the account, and so again, you got I hate this thing. I can't show the damn. It moves on its own. So anyway, you got to make, say you did the 300,000. Wow, that's so annoying. Say you did the 70,000. Well, you got to make 4250 before you lose 27. I can't watch that, guys. I got to get off that page. Anyway, the point is, do this. There's guys in my room that are doing that, and I get messages nonstop. Hey, I qualified for another one. So they got all these live accounts. And then I get messages. We talked to a guy the other day. Yeah, now I have this account, and now I'm just kind of back and forth, and I can't make money. Well, is it because the markets do suck? But say even if the markets didn't suck, he probably wasn't going to be making money right now, because he gets the live account, and what does he have? He has the performance anxiety where now it's live. This is why traders do so great on sim, and they can't make money on live accounts, because they start putting pressure on themselves, right? That's the whole idea. So you've got to learn. So read those articles. You've got to learn how to practice, not a game, practice, how to practice trading under pressure, because that's what you're trading when you're trading live. When you all of a sudden you get that live account, you're like, oh yeah, I made it. All right, this is gonna pay. Now I'm gonna start making millions, and then you start doing stupid shit. You start being passing on trades. Oh, this one's not perfect, and this is exactly what he talks about in here about waiting for perfect situations, right? Right here. Very often, performance pressure manifests itself as perfectionism. Read this. It's what's happening. So my point is, nothing's changed with the edge that we have and the volume events and everything we're doing. It's what happens in your brain. All right, we got some stuff going on now, so So I'm going to take a beating on it. Again, guys, he's obviously this clown saying something that's negative, and I'm going to probably take a loss here. It hasn't stopped me out yet, but that was my choice to put on this trade. See, he's still talking. So Goldby's goaltender, I was going to use another phrase, but I'm not going to say that on the air. It's a pretty funny one, but I'm not going to say that. Anyway, I pretty much got filled to the damn tick. This guy's talking. He's saying something. You can see them sweeping this thing too. So whatever. That was my choice to put on the trade. I'm not out of it yet, and this is why this is why I don't stop out. I don't panic the minute it starts doing that. If they can push this puppy through this volume event and get an ATR outside of an ATR out of here, then I say, uncle, on to my next trade. I was saying something else, I forgot. But so gold stops. So I'm basically looking, like I said, I'm not real excited about going short into all these prior stops because you got all those trap traders in there. But this is an Izzy trade, and I will take this double size long. We got the stop run right now into an Izzy zone, important area. I'm taking first bounce out of here, and I'm taking it aggressively, and I'm taking double size. So here we go. Make sure the ATR is right, and you can trade right off the chart. ATR says 2.03. Think or Swim says 1.84. That is not right, so I got to plug it in the spreadsheet. Again, it's in beta. Don't get mad at the drawing tool. That's why we're beta testing it. He'll get it straightened out because he's a savant. So what did I say that was? 2052. So you go to your spreadsheet. 2052.8. 2052.4. I gotta hop off here soon too, guys, because I got that other webinar coming up. Whoops, that's not right. ATR is 1.84. So here's my prices. If I'm going to going long at 49, last two digits. I could put on 11. I'm going to double it up because of my bullish sentiment thesis. I'm going to trade 22. The only issue here is I might be entering exactly in this prior zone, and I'm not going to do that. This is showing outside of there just because the ATR is bigger on here. So this is showing me I got to enter at 49, right, off of this event. Aggressive entry, meaning first move out. I don't wait for that in this instance. I'll just move it just outside there. So I'll move to like 52. So I'm not entering in this prior stop event. I don't, because they will hurt you. Actually, is this another one here? Yeah, so this is, I take that back. So what I'm going to do here, I didn't see this. I'm going to move it outside that one. So you've got to make a decision. You could be saying, well, what the hell? That's 20 more ticks. Yes, 20 more ticks, but then I don't worry about stopping out where traders are caught, right? So I'm going to get it out of there. And that's obviously going to change your sizing too a little bit because now that entry price is 20 ticks higher. So I'll just say 10, and I'll trade 20. I'll go long 20, and I'll put it right outside that zone. We'll say 72. That's not really scientific. I'm just trying to get it out of this prior, this stop and buy, stop run event. So 2057.2, I'm going long 20 Izzy's in gold. And that's it. If this turns into a bearish setup, one, I didn't want to go short anyway because of all that stuff. Like I said, the algo guy is not bearish at all yet, so there's nothing really to do on the bearish side. So if it moves back up, I'm going long. And what I can do here too, so I got the Izzy, and then I could put on Barks and Licks. ATR retest confirmed, and you see the lick up there. So I'll put those on too, double size if that occurs. So that is in the process of working. All right, you got any other questions? Throw them in. I don't see anything in there. All right, guys, that's it. I got this one trade on, and looks like I'm going to take the loss on that. That's just trading. On to the next trade. I elected to choose with this guy talking. So, for the overall today, I definitely, should be. This is already telling me something's up. Like, this shouldn't have got back through this guy, right? If this breaks this is coming back here. It might not all happen today, but you're going to see a shit show, at least short term, pardon my language, right? I know how unlikely that is. It'll probably go like this and then like this, but if this was a normal market with normal movement, I would be trading like 3 times size on once it breaks this guy. Just say this zone, right? So if you get through this zone, I still think we're gonna have a big sell-off, but we'll see. But until then, I'm looking long. if then scenarios. You're ready to go. You're ready to pivot on if certain things happen. That's what trading is. All right, that's all I got. I do this every day in my trade room. You get all that stuff that I talked about, and then I put it in the trading. Scroll up, you get the document of everything I'm using in my trading. All right, I will see you guys next Thursday. Thanks.